Hi, and welcome to episode 500 of the podcast. Roughly every 10 days for the last 13 years and 9 months or so, I've tried to bring you the best insights and information that I could about digital strategy and commerce. During that time, I've refined the focus of the show around a core thesis, and that is the demand you own is more valuable than the demand you rent. That led to my book, and it led us to change the title of the show from Thinks Out Loud to Digital Reset. And that led to this mini-series, the show within the show, that led to today's episode. Why are we here today? Well, in episode 498, I recapped the problem in detail. Gatekeepers closing the gates and driving up your costs to reach your customers. We're seeing it on the P&L, and it's increasing every single month and quarter right now. In episode 499, I outlined the core question. Who owns your customer relationship? You or big tech gatekeepers? Today, I want to lay out the roadmap you can use to drive more direct revenue and deeper customer relationships that hopefully will sustain you for the next 14 years and, 500 more episodes. In my experience, companies usually fall into one of three categories as they come to this question. I'm going to talk about each of these in more detail after the break. I also want you to think about which category you belong to before we begin. The first category are people who are, we're in big trouble right now, today. They're looking to identify the problem, to triage the problem. These conversations happen all the time. People usually don't call a doctor when they're healthy, and they don't ask consultants for help when business is booming. So as you might imagine, I talk with these folks every day. The second are folks who are growing just slowly or not as much as they might like. They're looking to build, to drive more revenue. Their business is okay, not terrible, but not great. Again, these are also people I talk with regularly, and usually for similar reasons. They recognize they've got a problem, and they're looking for a way out. The final category includes companies that are seeing strong growth. They're looking to optimize, to reach new heights. And I'm happy to say I talk with these folks very often too. Maybe not as much as the first two. But you'd be surprised how many of these people reach out to me. They tend to recognize two basic points. The first is that no matter how good things are, they might have blind spots they don't want to surprise them later. And the second is that you can always use help to do better. I am always happy to have those conversations and freely acknowledge that I learn as much as I share during those conversations. It's a win all the way around. Regardless of which category you fall into, this episode is for you. I'm Tim Peter. This is episode 500 of Digital Reset. Today we're uncovering the complete roadmap for owning your customer. Let's dive in. I've already listed the three categories companies tend to fall into around owning their customer. Before we get into how you address each situation, here's how to know which one your business fits into. Run the simple diagnostic test I shared in our last episode. Pull traffic data from your analytics platform and Google Search Console for each of the last 12 months. Then measure whether branded search and direct navigation traffic is growing or shrinking as a share of paid and total traffic and revenue. That's it. That's all you have to do. Reviewing that small data set will tell you if gatekeepers are making you pay for a greater share of your customers' attention, if you're holding steady, or if you're gaining a greater share of your customers' attention over time. Let's start with the folks in the first category, the people who are already likely losing share to paid channels. There is a relatively simple playbook to follow. And in order, start by running the gatekeeper test I outlined in episode 495 for every active channel that drives traffic and revenue to your business. First, ask, are we using this platform to build our business, or are we building our business inside this platform? Then ask, who owns the data from our interaction with the customer? Any channel that fails both questions must become a lower priority for your business. There's a saying I like, when you find yourself in a hole, stop digging. Your goal is to get out of the hole. Depending on the share of revenue your business gets from these channels, it might be a little easier or a little harder to get out of that hole. But your goal over time is to deprioritize these channels from highest cost to lowest and shift the budget towards channels you have more control over, like your website, your CRM. I am not suggesting that you quit these channels cold turkey. Rule number one always is stay in business. During the pandemic, lots of companies I worked with had to hedge best practices a bit to ensure they kept the lights on. That is okay. At the same time, if you're already in a hole, you want to move away from the most expensive of these channels that fail both tests as soon as possible. Over time, its share of your business, your traffic, and revenue should fall as the share of business from direct channels grows. The point isn't that its actual traffic and revenue decline. It's that its importance does. That's what moving beyond big tech looks like. It looks like you become less dependent on gatekeeper channels over time. Because you do. Here's how you can do that. First, figure out the actual cost of your top paid channel. I don't mean your return on ad spend or your cost per click or your cost per acquisition. I mean the actual, honest dollars and cents amount you pay every month, quarter, and year. Because that's money coming straight out of your pocket and going straight into the gatekeeper's pocket every single day. That's your target number to save over time. Then, make a note about your single highest value customer segment. Job one is to build a direct path to those customers. And usually, the simplest way to do that is through email marketing. If you don't have their email addresses, start asking for them today. Add an email form on your website. Get your sales and customer service teams to start asking for permission to email them. Create incentives around getting people to sign up to hear from you. That's how you grow your list over time. You can also apply our Core and Explore methodology. Focus 80%-ish of your efforts on what's working most effectively for your business. The money those channels throw off should help you fund efforts to drive more direct business. And use the remaining 20% of your budget and efforts experimenting with ways to grow your direct business, your CRM, and your email list. Ultimately, that is your job right now. That is the whole job right now. Set a 90-day target for your efforts. At the end of 90 days, your direct traffic and email traffic should be measurably higher than they are today. That's your goal. If you see those results, double down on them. And if not, and assuming seasonality isn't the cause, go back to square one, pick another expensive channel, and try again. I know you can get there. We help companies do this every day. Today, it's time for you to start. Category 2 consists of those folks whose direct business isn't growing. You're sitting still. The playbook actually isn't that much different from Group 1. It does require a slightly different focus, though. In this case, you want to start with the owned demand test that I outlined in episode 495. Look at every current marketing investment you're making and ask 3 questions. 1. Does it create a direct relationship with your customer? 2. Does it make your brand easier to ask for by name? And 3. Does it work after you turn off the investment, any channel that fails all three is one that you need to deprioritize. Just as with Group 1, Category 1, that doesn't mean quit them cold turkey. Not at all. It just means that the channel share of your business should decline over time. In 90 days, growth in direct and email traffic and revenue should make the problem channel's volume smaller as a share of your total. That's always what you're trying to do. Second, search for your business in ChatGPT, in Gemini, in Claude, and Perplexity. What does the AI know about your business? What does it get wrong? And what's missing? That's your content roadmap for the next quarter. And your content plan must include not only creation, but content distribution. Work on developing branded content that drives engagement on social media. You want customers to like, comment, and share. Use channels where your customers are active, like YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok if you're in B2C, and LinkedIn and YouTube if you're on B2B. Those engagements, particularly the comments and shares, are a clear signal that validates your content to AI platforms and shows that you're a brand worth recommending. Third, continue building your list. The truth of any CRM is that if it's not growing, it's shrinking. Folks opt out, they move on, they no longer need your products and services. That's okay. You don't want to bother people who aren't in the market any longer. You want instead to continually build a healthy list of people who want to hear from you, who look forward to hearing from you, and ultimately who will buy from you. Next and last, use your content to learn more about your customers and encourage them to share more about themselves with you. Then use what you learn about your customers in turn to create ever more personalized content and improve your segmentation in email or other CRM-delivered content. You can also start shifting your core and explore from 80-20 to 75-25 or even 70-30. Your goal is to invest more in activities that build your brand over time. You're not just looking to be seen for a single transaction. You want to become a brand that customers will ask and teach their AI assistants and agents to ask for by name. As for the folks in Category 3, well, congratulations. You've built a brand that's working and working well. Your job now is to build on your successes and create an ever more sustainable brand. Your primary goal is to focus on continuing your brand's success in an AI-mediated world. AI can't simply be an afterthought. It's now a primary channel. The brands that AI tools recommend are the brands with the greatest authority signals. Your good work there already provides you a leg up on your competition. Keep your focus on increased quality and volume of your ratings, reviews, and social media engagement, and develop or expand your work with branded content that will gain traction and velocity in its own right. As with Category 2, use the data that you get from this content to gain even deeper insights into what matters to your customers. Increasingly, you're looking to anticipate their needs before they even know those needs exist. And feed this data into your product and service development process, too. That'll improve the experience in every interaction customers have with your brand and help you build a stronger brand overall. Finally, you should be interacting with big tech in a true co-opetition mindset at this point. Big tech and specific partners should exist as a tool for reaching customers who you can't reach more cost-effectively on your own. The goal is that you might pay big tech for the first connection, but almost never for the second. I can give you a real-world example of what that looks like. There's a hospitality client of mine that gets a very small amount of business from Latin America. They don't have the resources or, frankly, receive the volume that makes developing Spanish-language websites, content, or email campaigns worthwhile. It just doesn't. They're happy to let Booking.com, Expedia, and Google Metasearch deliver those guests the first time. They do, however, follow their guests' home country privacy practices and ensure enhanced consent for opt-ins. They also work to learn more about their guests' individual needs and address those specifically when those guests are on property. As a result, they've built some solid relationships with this segment and see some decent brand direct repeat business from these individuals. The benefit compounds to them over time. Is it a perfect solution? No, of course not. Nothing is. Is it more cost effective and engaged with their brand long term? You bet. You'll note that across all three categories of businesses that I've just talked about, one point holds true. One core underlying point holds true. Every platform that sends you customers eventually charges more for them. That's the essence of the phrase gatekeeper's gonna gate. It's not a prediction. It's a fundamental law of the digital economy. It's been true for more than 25 years, and I'm confident it will remain true for years to come. The only sustainable response you have in that world is to make any platform introduction a one-time cost, not a recurring one. Your job is to own the second interaction, own the third, own the data, own the relationship. That's what the last 500 episodes of this podcast have been about. That's what the book is about. And that's what this roadmap is designed to help you do for your business. As I wrap up this episode, I want to look at the three questions from a couple of weeks ago one more time. One, what percentage of new customer acquisition runs through channels you don't control? Now you know what to do, no matter what the number is. Two, is your direct, organic, and email business growing or shrinking as a share of your total? Now you know which path to follow. And three, if your top customer acquisition channel changed its terms tomorrow, what's your 90-day alternative? Now you have one. The goal has never been to make big tech go away. The goal is to never need them twice. That's thinking beyond big tech. Thank you so much for listening today and for all your support over the last 13 plus years and 500 episodes. It means more to me than I can ever say. If this episode, if this show gives you a clearer picture of the digital economy and how you can succeed in it, please do me a favor. Send it to a colleague you think it will help. It would mean so very much to me. You can find the show notes for this episode, including a link to the book, at timpeter.com/podcasts. Thank you again for listening. I genuinely appreciate you. Until next time, please be well, be safe, and take care, everybody. I'll see you soon.